Hi, and welcome to the first, or not the first, the second, I guess, historical biography presentation from me. Today, we're going to talk about Barack Obama, who is the 44th president of the United States, and we're going to talk about his career and his life a little bit. So Barack Obama was born in Hawaii to his father, Barack Obama Sr., who was from Kenya, and Ann Dunham, who was from the United States. And he was raised in Indonesia and Hawaii. He rarely saw his father, who moved back to Kenya, so he was raised by just his mom in the United States, and also in Indonesia when she remarried. Barack began his undergraduate career at Occidental College in LA on a full scholarship. And then as a junior, he transferred to Columbia University in New York, majoring in political science with an international relations specialty and English literature. So quite the accomplishments there. He then began law school in 1988 at the Harvard Law School, and he became the first Black president of the Harvard Law Review. So that's pretty awesome as well. Before politics, Obama was a community organizer in Chicago, and he helped organize job training programs and college prep programs and attendance right organization. And that was in the late 80s. And then in the 90s, Obama accepted a 2-year position as the visiting law and government fellow at the University of Chicago Law School. So basically, he became a law professor working at University of Chicago. And then while he was also there, Obama directed the Project Vote campaign in Illinois. And in 1993, he joined a law firm that was about civil rights. So then he wanted to become a state senator. So in 1996, he was elected to become the state senator for the 13th district, which is kind of the south side neighborhoods of Chicago. And as a state senator, Obama gained bipartisan support for legislation that reformed ethics and healthcare laws. So he was working on those sorts of things that he's known for now early on in his political career. He sponsored a law that increased tax credits for low-income workers. He negotiated some welfare reform, and he promoted subsidies for childcare. He also helped with a bunch of other different things, and he ended up becoming the chairman of the Health and Human Services Committee. So he was pretty important in the Illinois State Senate. So then he announced his candidacy for the U.S. Senate in 2003. And he was able to do this because he was an early opponent of the 2003 invasion of Iraq. And he spoke at several important anti-war rallies in Chicago. And then he won the Democratic primary in a landslide. And then in July, he gave the keynote speech at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. And this gave him a very high profile within the National Party, especially as someone who had just entered kind of the national politics. And then he won his Senate race with 70% of the vote. So he was very popular in Illinois at the time. So then as a senator, Obama is generally regarded as a loyal Democrat. He voted along party lines for the majority of things. And he was the only Senate member of the Congressional Black Caucus. So he was the only Black senator at the time of his election. Obama worked on several Senate committees like Foreign Relations and the Environment and Public Works and Veteran Affairs. And he was involved in several different pieces of legislation while he was a senator, including some missile reduction laws and things about government spending transparency. He also added some amendments dealing with health insurance and stuff like that, and just overall health, which is the things that he specialized in as a state senator as well. So then he wanted to run for president, and in 2008, he faced Hillary Clinton in a duel for the nomination, and he won. He emphasized ending the Iraq War, energy independence, and reforming the healthcare system. His campaign also projected themes of hope and change, as you may be aware if you lived through that. And he was the first to utilize social media well in a modern campaign. So he was the first presidential candidate to really utilize Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that to help campaign. So then in the election of 2008, Obama selected Joe Biden as his running mate, and he was facing John McCain and Sarah Palin. John McCain was a senator from Arizona. Sarah Palin was the governor of Alaska. And Obama was victorious. He won 53% of the popular vote and 365 electoral college votes. So that's absolutely enough. And then he gave his victory speech in Grant Park. Really cool. My mom was there. She got to go to that speech. It was really cool. In his first term, he did a couple different things. He tried to close Guantanamo Bay, but Congress wouldn't let him. He passed the Economic Recovery Act, which was to get out of the 2007 recession. He bailed out the automotive industry. They passed the Affordable Care Act. He named 2 women to the Supreme Court. He repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but he did have those midterm election losses in 2010, and that's when the Tea Party began. So that was kind of in the response to Barack Obama's election, was the Tea Party movement. We can talk about that in another video. Then in 2012, Obama ran against former governor of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney, and then Wisconsin Representative Paul Ryan. And he won 332 electoral college votes. He won the popular vote again, and he became the first Democratic president to win the popular vote twice since FDR did. So that was a pretty big deal that he did that. In his second term, he got a lot of other stuff as well done. He got the Paris Climate Accord signed, and the Americans joined that. They did the Iran nuclear deal. He rolled out the Affordable Care Act. He began withdrawal from Afghanistan. However, he still lost ground in Congress, so Republicans now controlled both houses by 2014. He appointed Merrick Garland and never got voted on to be a Supreme Court justice, and marriage equality was passed over his time. Then, of course, in 2016, Hillary Clinton was kind of seen as Barack's successor, but she was defeated by Donald Trump despite winning the popular vote. So the 2016 was kind of hailed as this rejection of Obama and his policies, despite his high approval ratings and general support for most of his policy decisions. Election-wise, despite his popularity, Democrats continue to lose down ticket under Obama. So they lost governorships and state houses and all sorts of things. So while nationally the Democrats were doing very well and had very high public opinion, Republicans were winning offices. So here are a lot of different things that are a part of Obama's legacy. On the left, we've got some of the good things like the Obamacare law, marriage equality, the Iran nuclear deal, economic recovery from 2008, reduction of the deficit, all those sorts of things. On the right, some things that were not so great, right? He utilized a lot of drone strikes in military operations. There was a rise in white nationalism and hate, which is necessarily his fault, but it came in his time. The rise of Trumpism, high partisanship, the Tea Party movement. There were still a lot of wars that America was involved in. And a lot of his policy was via executive action and not legislation. So there wasn't a lot of actual legislation passed. It was a lot of executive orders. Now, as a former president, Barack's got several things he's trying to do. He runs the Obama Foundation. Him and his wife, Michelle, have a production studio, and they have a deal with Netflix to produce movies and TV shows. He's been campaigning for Joe Biden. And, of course, he has his presidential library he's setting up in Chicago. Thank you so much for watching, learning a little bit about our former president, Barack Obama. And next, we'll see a new person for our historical biographies. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.